Educational Psychology 710, Survey Research Methods. Qualtrics Series Part 2, Creating Your Instrument. Here are the objectives for this presentation. Here are the various sections of the presentation. First, log in to your new UNLV Qualtrics account, which will take you to the My Project screen. Now we can create our first project from scratch. Select the green Create Project button in the top right corner. A command box will appear prompting you to name your project. Please enter the title of your survey. I've titled this demonstration the Scale Development Project. You will notice 3 commands on the left side that I will explain for your reference. The first option, from a copy, allows you to create a duplicate of a survey in your Qualtrics library. This would come in handy if you liked the format or wanted to create an updated version of an older survey. The second option, from a library, is a great tool if you'd like to use a ready-made Qualtrics template. Qualtrics has many templates in their library, spanning higher education surveys on student engagement to a simple demographics survey. The third option, from a file, provides a choice to upload a survey that was previously created and exported from Qualtrics. Now that we've created the Scale Development Project, we can develop our first item by selecting the green arrow on the Create a New Question command box. A list of 15 item formats will emerge, categorized by static content, standard questions, and specialty questions. There are many great options within this menu that I implore you to experiment with sometime. Since your instrument is focused on Likert type items, we will primarily target the descriptive text and multiple choice options. I'll begin by showing you the descriptive text option, which gives you the opportunity to provide instructions to participants and upload external files if needed. An example of an external file might be an invitation or an informed consent document. When you highlight descriptive text, a dialog box with an example of the item format will appear on the right-hand side. Once highlighted, select the descriptive text option. The descriptive text option you selected will appear as your first item. Highlight and select the Click to write the question text. Replace the default text and type in your descriptive text. The descriptive text example I've used is from my dissertation study. Please note you can copy your item directly from a Microsoft Word document and paste it into the section like I have. Use the Rich Content Editor feature to customize your message. Many of the symbols within the Rich Content Editor command box reflect the options built into Microsoft Word. For this particular project, you might use the third tool, Insert File. After selecting Insert File, a new dialog box will appear. Choose the Upload a New File option. After selecting Upload a New File, an additional dialog box will appear. Choose a file from your computer that you would like to upload to the Qualtrics library. Once you've selected the file, an additional dialog box will emerge. Use the Description option to rename your document as you would like it to appear in your survey. I've named my file Informed Consent Form. Then select Save. You'll now see the recently uploaded document in the form of a link. Please note you can relocate that link by simply copying and pasting it to the desired location. Click your cursor outside of the command box when you are finished editing this item. Once clicking your cursor outside of the descriptive text, you can view your completed descriptive item. Now that we've created the project and entered descriptive text, we can move on to Likert type items and responses. Select the green Addition button to add a new item. Note there are other ways to add a new question, such as selecting the green arrow on the Create a New Question box. The original 15 options we saw when creating the descriptive item will appear, and the multiple choice option may be selected from there as well. After selecting the green arrow, your second item will appear. For future use, you can use the options on the right-hand side to change the item type. Since multiple choice came up as a default, we don't need to make any changes. Next, highlight the default Click to Write the Question text and type in your second item. Similar to the descriptive text option, you can copy your item directly from a Microsoft Word document and paste it into this section. Type or copy your second item in the designated space. Note that you can access the Rich Content Editor again to customize your item options. If you click on a particular item, the section will become highlighted, and two gray arrows will appear. In this example, Item 2 is highlighted. If needed, use the gray arrows to reorder your items. You can also click your cursor on the actual item number, in this example, Q2. The command box will open and a different number can be inserted manually. Now we can move on to the item responses portion of the presentation. Similar to the item stems, highlight the default Click to Write Choice 1 text and type in your first response, or copy it from a Word document and paste it in the designated area. Please follow that procedure with Choice 2 and Choice 3. The project you are working on requires 5 item responses, but the default for multiple choice is 3. Use the Addition button under Choices to add 2 additional responses. Using the previous procedures, select Click to Write Choice 4 and enter or paste your final response. Repeat this step for Choice 5. Now that you've entered or pasted your final response, I'd like to show you a few additional features. Select the arrow button associated with the response item to view a new dialog box. You can use the Allow Text entry to create a space for participants to leave a comment to an item response. This would be appropriate if you have Other as an option. Note that the Rich Content Editor for the item responses is accessed from this display. If you need to reorder your item responses, use the Move Up or Move Down options. Remove Choice is available if you need to delete an item response. Additionally, you can select the Automatic Choices option, which provides standard responses to your Likert type items. There are several ways to accomplish these tasks in Qualtrics. I have demonstrated what I believe to be the easiest and most efficient. At this time, you can use these techniques to develop your remaining items and item responses. The demographic items will come at the end of your 30 to 40 Likert type instrument. Demographic items can be sensitive and can evoke a reaction or emotional response for participants. We don't want to deter participants from taking our survey or prime them in any way by answering these sensitive questions. For that reason, we leave them for the end of the survey. The addition of item 3 is an example of a demographic item. I want to point out one item response feature in particular. You may also find participants want or need to submit more than one response. For these types of responses, select Multiple Answer under the Answers category. In this example, the multiple answer option is selected, and 2 or more responses are available for this sample demographic item. Once your descriptive, Likert type, and demographic items have been created, we can customize the design of the survey. At the top of the survey module, select the Look and Feel option. A new dialog box will open. One important feature to add to your instrument is a progress bar. The progress bar is helpful because participants can see how far along they are in the survey. This could help increase survey retention and completion. Under the General options, select the No Progress Bar drop-down and change it to With Verbose Text. Later in the presentation, we will preview our survey and have the ability to view our status bar. You also have the option to determine questions per page. For the purposes of this 3-item demonstration instrument, I've entered 1 item per page. My screen shows a preview by displaying 1 item per page with the status bar. Upon finishing this section, participants will be informed on page 2 that they have reached 33% completion. Note that the status bar won't be effective if all survey items are on 1 page. For your information, you can also use the Blocks feature, a more advanced version of placing items on separate pages. That option is beyond the scope of this presentation. There is one more element to cover within the survey look and feel options before selecting the Save button. I like to ensure all of the fonts throughout the survey are consistent. In the same command box, select the Fonts option. Use the dialog boxes to select your font preference. For this particular example, I've chosen a standard Times New Roman. Then, select the size of your fonts in the appropriate dialog boxes. I generally stick with 10 or 12 point font. I want to point out that you can also adjust the fonts using the rich content editor that we used at the beginning of the presentation to upload the informed consent document. The rich content editor allows you to add special formatting to your text, including adjusting the font type and style of each individual item and item response. Now, be sure to select Save so the adjustments you've made in both the general and font sections are captured. Anonymizing your responses is an effective way to eliminate any identifying information. We need to enable the setting that removes participants' IP addresses and location data from your results. At the top of the survey module, select Survey Options. Scroll down to the Survey Termination section and select the Anonymize Response checkbox. Note that once a response has been anonymized, the IP address and location data can't be restored. According to Qualtrics, the IP address is not considered identifying information. That said, when going through an institutional review board or ethics committee, the IP address may be considered impermissible. This slide demonstrates how to remove the IP address option. Before closing this command box, select Save. There is one final step before preparing the instrument for distribution. We want to preview the survey to ensure everything is working the way in which we intended. We do this by selecting Preview Survey in the top right of the survey module. A new window will open showing a preview of the survey. In this mode, you can answer questions and move through the survey the same way your participants would with a real link. The left side represents the web version, while the right side represents the smartphone version. Notice the status bar with text. I'll click through to ensure our survey is functioning properly. First, I'll test the informed consent link. Again, a new window will open and your document should appear as you uploaded it. My example is the informed consent PDF from my dissertation study. Yours might be in the form of an invitation for your scale development project. Select the previous window to return to the survey preview. Now that we know the link works okay, we can move along to the next page of the instrument. In this section, I'm testing to ensure only one option can be selected. The 33% completion status is also reflected in the status bar. Let's keep it moving to the next page. In this final section of our demonstration instrument, I'm checking to make sure multiple options can be selected. The 66 completion status is also reflected in the status bar. Let's move along to the final page. On our final screen, we can preview the default end of survey message and completed status bar. Barring any changes need to be made, our instrument is now ready for deployment. In summary, we've covered setting up a new project, constructing descriptive, Likert type, and demographic items, developing item responses, learning various item and item response features, modifying survey design options, and previewing a survey. This concludes Part 2 of the 3-part Qualtrics series, Creating Your Instrument. Part 3 will cover instrument distribution, obtaining analyzable data files, and additional resources.